This is the Music History Today podcast for November the 18th. On today's show, Michael Jackson's Ranch gets raided, Walk the Line and One Direction premiere, and Nirvana unplugs in New York City. First up, though, on this date in 1952, Bill Haley of Bill Haley and the Comets married his wife Barbara Kupchak. In 1962, Barry White married his wife Betty Smith. In 1968, the group Poco played their first gig. It was at the Troubadour in Los Angeles, California. The group was called Pogo with a G, but had to change their name so they wouldn't get sued by whoever owned the copyright to the trademark to the comic strip Pogo with P-O-G-O. In 1972, guitarist Danny Whitten of Neil Young and Crazy Horse passed away at the age of 29. Neil Young's song Needle and the Damage Done is about Whitten. In 1980, the movie starring Chris Christopherson, Heaven's Gate, about the Rapture, held its premiere in New York City. The movie holds the distinction as being one of the biggest box office failures of all time. In 1985, Janet Jackson and singer James DeBarge had their marriage annulment finalized. In 1993, Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam was arrested for being drunk in public in New Orleans after he had gotten into a bar fight. In 1993, same day, speaking of the grunge music, Seattle sound, Nirvana recorded their MTV Unplugged in New York album at Sony Music Studios. In 1994, bandleader Cab Calloway, whose most popular song was probably Minnie the Moocher, passed away at the age of 86. In 1994, same day, the Rolling Stones became the first band to stream a rock concert on the internet when they streamed 5 songs online during their performance at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. In 2000, Brian May of Queen married actress Anita Dobson. In 2003, police raided Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. The raid was due to an investigation into allegations that were made against him by the family of a young boy. In 2003, same day, film score composer Michael Kamen passed away from heart issues at the age of 55. In 2004, songwriter Cy Coleman passed away at the age of 75. In 2005, the movie based on Johnny Cash's life, Walk the Line, premiered in movie theaters. The movie won Reese Witherspoon a Best Actress Oscar for her portrayal of June Carter. In 2006, to promote his album Kingdom Come, Jay-Z performed 7 30-minute concerts in 7 different U.S. cities. In 2016, singer Sharon Jones of Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings passed away from cancer at the age of 60. In 2017, guitarist Malcolm Young of AC/DC passed away at the age of 64. And in 2018, entertainer Mandy Moore married Taylor Goldsmith of the band Dawes. At award ceremonies that were held on November the 18th, in 2007, Justin Timberlake and Fergie were among the big winners at the American Music Awards. In 2012, Justin Bieber and Katy Perry were among the big winners at the American Music Awards. And in 2015, Willie Nelson received the Gershwin Prize from the United States Library of Congress. Albums that were released on November the 18th include in 1970 when Three Dog Night released Naturally. In 1976, Al Green released Have a Good Time. In 1977, Brand X released Livestock and The Jam released This Is the Modern World. In 1978, Emerson, Lake and Palmer released Love Beach. In 1981, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts released I Love Rock and Roll. In 1983, Ian Anderson released Walk Into Light, but only in the UK on that date. In 1985, the Jesus and Mary Chain released Psycho Candy, LL Cool J released Radio, Slade released Crackers, the Christmas Party album, and Stevie Nicks released Rock a Little. In 1997, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts were at it again, this time releasing Fit to be Tied. Aldo Nova released Aldo's Dream. AC/DC released Bonfire. John Mellencamp released The Best That I Could Do, 1978 to 1988. Metallica released Reload. The Ramones released We're Outta Here. Paul Simon released Songs from the Cape Man, which was the Broadway musical that he did. And the Zombies released Zombie Heaven. In 1998, Savatage released Believe. In 2001, Madonna released GHV2. In 2003, Cyndi Lauper released At Last. In 2005, The Human League released original remixes and rarities. In 2008, David Cook released his self-titled album. And also on that same day, Phish released At the Roxy. And in 2016, Metallica released Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Singles that were released on November the 18th include in 1957 when Sam Cooke released I'll Come Running Back to You. In 1965, the Supremes released Children's Christmas Song. In 1968, the Jimi Hendrix Experience released Crosstown Traffic. In 1974, George Harrison released Dark Horse. And in 1978, Earth, Wind & Fire released September. Before we continue, we'd like to tell you that we've started Season 2 of the Music History In-Depth podcast, where we go more in-depth on some of the events that we mention on this particular podcast. The Music History In-Depth podcast drops every Tuesday on this podcast network. Now, back to the Music History Today podcast. Artists who were born on November the 18th include rapper Fabulous, singer Duncan Sheik, Kirk Hammett of Metallica, singer Kim Wilde, Michael Ramos of the Bodines, rocker John Parr, Hank Ballard of the Midnighters, lyricist Johnny Mercer, Graham Parker of Graham Parker and the Rumor, Johnny Christ of Avenged Sevenfold, Rudy Sarzo of Quiet Riot, Herman Rarebell of the Scorpions, singer Robin Ward, Con Kluski of The Bachelors, jazz musician Don Cherry, singer and actress Dorothy Collins, Purvis Staples of the Staples Singers, classical composer Carl Maria von Weber, classical composer Ignacy Jan Paderewski, Compay Segundo of Buena Vista Social Club, rapper Summers, singer Mila J, singer Jin Young, rapper Mike Jones, singer Sorn, Connor McDonough of Before You Exit, reggaeton singer Fabio Lagarda, and singer Roy Blair. Artists who unfortunately passed away on November the 18th, other than the ones mentioned earlier, include pianist Edward Markson, violinist Heinrich Panofska, bandleader Ted Heath, singer Hal Dickinson, blues singer Junior Parker, jazz pianist Lenny Tristano, opera singer Dorothy Kirsten, organist Douglas Guest, Doug Sam of the Sir Douglas Quintet, album cover and poster designer Bill Narum, composer and organist Philip Ledger, record producer and arranger Dave Appel, jazz drummer Ben Riley, jazz trombonist Slide Hampton, composer and author Ned Rorem, pianist and composer David Del Tradici, Mercy Sonot of Aegis, Colin Peterson, who was the drummer for the Bee Gees, and composer and singer Charles Dumont. Next on the Music History Today podcast, it is November the 19th, when in 1990, Milli Vanilli were stripped of their Grammy Award for Best New Artist.